Hello, comic fans. Here's Earl Grey, and these are stacks of books that I actually want to get rid of. So it's not the usual comic haul, but actually the opposite. Don't be offended if I will sell one of your favorite books and argue that it's not so great. Yeah, it's all subjective, of course, and but always praising becomes a bit boring as well. So, yeah, prepare for some negativity, but maybe some useful information. The books that you saw on the floor are actually just the ones that are still up on eBay. Like this one here, Batman Arkham Asylum, the Anniversary Deluxe Edition. But I've picked quite a few books that have left my house here a while ago, some months or even years ago. But I think it's maybe interesting for you just to see not all, every time or almost every time what comes to my house, but what has left. So this book I want to sell because I have right now an absolute edition, which is just bigger, and the comic deserves the bigger treatment, and it doesn't deserve to be kicked from the most upper floor shelf. It was a disaster. This slipcase took some beating, like you can see here. The book itself is perfectly fine, so I hope I get some buyer who wants to buy this for half price or so. This is Batman Zero Year von Snyder und Capullo. The story, yeah, I liked it quite a bit, but it's not very. Probably I won't read it a second time. It was a bit generic, even though the Absolute Edition with the slipcase foil thingy there going on, that's a nice one. But yeah, I want to sell this as well. Like this one, DK3 by Frank Miller. The story just, yeah, it's not the best Batman ever told. Even though the book is quite beautiful, but you can see by these black surfaces, I take care of my books actually, but it's impossible to not leave some mark on it. So it looks pretty used and have some wear on it. In my mind, it's actually good as new, but you can't sell this as good as new. Then people will go crazy. What are you selling? So I think I put it as very good or something. The book and the binding is totally fine. Doomsday Clock. Yeah. Too much superheroes. Too. I hoped a bit for more Watchmen Part 2 and got more DC superheroing and stuff like this. I was warned. Every critic said something along these lines. This is not Watchmen, just only Watchmen, but a lot of stuff put into the mix. Most people liked it. I don't. Batman Year One. This is an oversized deluxe edition with foil dust jacket, and beautiful. But yay, I have the absolute edition, so I don't need both of these books. Same with Slayground, one of these Parker books by Darwin Cook. Beautiful little book, but right now I have the story as a part of the Martini edition, or one of the Martini editions. So yeah, this is a big thing. I hope for a bit of money getting for this tome. Neil Adams, Yeah, I have pretty much my own words in my ears when I showcase this in a video. I even defended the new computer coloring, even though when I now look at it, I don't like it too much, to be honest with you. And you can see here these darker pages. This is all Batman: The Odyssey. Not the finest Batman story ever told. And this is a pretty big part of this omnibus. So yeah, and I I appreciate what Neil Adams did with the Batman comics. He was a great artist, but he's not my favorite artist. So I don't need actually um, this chunky boy on my shelf. And here you can have a better look at the big portion of this bloody Odyssey. So yeah, Bat mangas by Jiro Kuwata. Actually, I liked them quite a bit, and read them all. Some of them even twice or so. But now I have one volume designed by Chip Kid. That's enough Bat manga for me. These three had to go. Actually, they left a while ago. Then I have some nice, neat hardcovers by different creators. I realized I have too many bad books on my shelves, and these books fetch pretty good prices. So actually, I think I'm better off with the money than with the books in this case. Not so with this Batman Death of the Family book. I sell this because I have now the Absolute Edition with a foil thing. Like this little deluxe book has same foil treatment with the skin of the Joker, etc. But I don't need the same book in two versions. In general, I have this big exception, as you may know, with the Killing Joke that I want to have in almost every, or better not even in every version, in each and every version on the world that there is. There's a long way to go, but I have quite a few Killing Jokes. But if I would do this with every bad book, yeah, I had to buy a new house. Yeah, here for different bad books, very different bad books. I'm not so sure if it is a very good decision to sell them as a bundle, but what can you do with these thinner, smaller bad books? For each of these, I get maybe, if I'm lucky, 10 euros or 8 euros, and somehow it's not always worth the money, all the hustle you have to do uploading it on eBay and packaging it and bringing it to the post office and yada yada. So I try to sell smaller items, and I consider these as smaller items in bundles. But I don't know if one who cares for the German, actually, a German cartoonist Enrico Marini, and his beautifully drawn Batman story in 2 parts, and for Walter Simonson's story here as well, and The Heart of Hush. I don't know, but I will see if I can sell this stuff. This is already been sold. Bronze Age Omnibus Volume 1 and 2. Yeah, as I said it before, I realized I have a bit too much Batman stuff on my shelves, especially of the older kind. I mean, I really love to read some Golden Age or Bronze Age Bat story once in a while. But these thick books have so many bad books that it's, after some years, I realized these books stand on the shelf and I still have read just a fraction of these stories. And Plus, I have a lot of these stories in black and white as part of the DC Showcase Presents pocketbooks, trades, thick things, which I really love. I mean, they're from the outside ugly as hell, but inside, even with these rough paper and so on, I really love these stories, and I really like to read these stories. By the way, there are some Neil Adams stories in these as well. So I have a lot of these bad stories anyhow. So yeah, and here you can see a good eye, the binding holes. I mean, obviously, when I put these books on eBay, I photograph them from every viewpoint. I think that is useful, and the binding usually as well. So yeah, and here's a big thing and a big decision for me, because I love the look of these Golden Age omnibus buses, volumes 1 to 10. I had them complete. I still have them complete, but yeah, actually already sold 2 of these omnibuses via eBay. And so, yeah, well, they're not mine anymore. And the other 8 ones will follow, because I will get rid of these. Same thing with, like I told you, with the Bronze Age omnibuses. It's just impossible to really read these books from start to finish, all of them, and maybe even more than just once. And I have so much other comics that I always get distracted. I read some of these Golden Age stories, and then it's good for some weeks. And in this fashion, I would not read these 10 volumes, even if I will become 120. Don't know. So yeah, it's a pity, but they have to go. Silver Age Omnibus Volume 2. I have this Volume 1, the Silver Age Omnibus. I think I keep it, but the Silver Age Omnibus 2 is really just more of the same silly stories. I like the silly stories. I like the silliness. I like everything. But it's the same artist, and it's really, yeah, bit too much of the same. So this book had already went away, was sold. And the Bronze Age Swamp Thing, yeah, there is. I have the stories here, and a good part in absolutes. So actually upgraded them. JLA by Grant Morrison. I can feel your disbelief going on. Maybe why did he sell this? Yeah, well, I guess superheroics are not usually my cup of tea, even when they are written by Grant Morrison, and I'm a big Grant Morrison fan. But yeah, this was not a series for me, but it was good because to sell them, because this fetched some good price, I have to say. I love the new 52 Wonder Woman by Cliff Chiang and Brian Azzarello. And I upgraded these deluxe hardcovers a while ago into these absolute editions, 2-volume absolute edition, which is beautiful. I mean, these deluxe hardcovers were beautiful as well, but I don't need the story in 2 versions, as I said before. So upgrade, and everything is fine. And I hope somebody had a lot of joy with this fantastic story. Not a yeah, Jeff Lemire. I guess it was a good story, but I just can't take Andrea Sorrentino's art. I'm one of the few in the world who really despises Andrea Sorrentino. His paneling is very far out, but yeah, I don't want to go into details because then this video would be very, very extra long. Animal Man. I like the new 52 version of Animal Man. And of course, the next what I read back in the day was Grant Morrison's Animal Man. And then I went a bit wild and want to have everything Animal Man, what I can get my greedy fingers on. But yeah, I've read the stuff here from Peter Milligan, but then somehow, yeah, I was stopped in my tracks. These covers by Brian Bolland would be actually worth to keep these books, but I've sold them because I would rather read Grant Morrison's Animal Man once again than to take a dive into these follow-ups. Oh, I did a video about this king-size Kirby edition a while ago when I put this huge thing on a chair in our garden. I remember it well. And I was quite pleased and proud somehow of this book. But now there are these beautiful Taschen books. And so I think these huge Taschen things are enough in that regard. So yeah, I could sell this book a while ago. Promethea, these trade paperbacks were for me the replacement for the Absolute Edition #1, Volume 1 of this Alan Moore, J.H. Williams, third book. But now the Absolute Edition Volume 1 has been reprinted. I don't know if it's already out of print again, but it was available again. And so I bought the Absolute Edition #1 so that I have now all 3 of them and could get rid of these trade paperbacks. The Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I read the IDW collection up to volume 13. I read volume 14, of course, as well, but figured that now I couldn't get into Sophie Campbell's run, which started with volume 14. I didn't like each and every part of the story in the volumes 1 to 13, of course, but there was always enough fun and silliness. And afterwards, in volume 14, it was a bit too much drama for me, but it's just me. I know many people love the Sophie Campbell stuff. Not for me. Some trade paperbacks, Star Wars related, which actually belong to my son. I try to sell them for him. He liked them very much back in the day and still seems to have some nostalgic feelings about them. So the price should be right before they leave the house here. And yeah, another photo for the king-size Kirby thing. Okay. And here we have some essential books, and I try to sell them in a bundle because obviously it's a bit of a hassle to sell them as singles. And I usually like these essentials so much that I keep them because comics in black and white are usually my thing, not so much with superheroics like the Fantastic Four or even Spider-Man. Some color is needed in these comics, I think. Oh, I love Scott McCloud because of his sculptor, because of all his comics about comics. Zod, in a very early work or series by him, sci-fi adventure. I tried and tried again to get into the story, but couldn't get through. So yeah, I don't know if I can sell this book. This was actually an easy sell, Kabuki by David Mack. No wonder, because these 4 library editions, I believe they were, are just beautiful books. Beautiful art. David Mack is an hell of an artist. But the story of Kabuki is very repetitive and yeah, I did a video about it and said that for me the key to Kabuki is that he is a bit of an artist, or just more than a bit of an artist, and this comes through in these stories. So a bit difficult to read these stories, but it was a bit difficult to part with these books because I actually like them. But so much is true. I sold them for a very, very good price back in the day. I guess double cover price or so. But it was a time when these things went for 3 or 4 times the cover price even. Or actually, people tried to sell them for these prices. So I thought roundabout double cover price is kind of fair. Usually I sell. I have to sell comics with less than cover price, of course. So I think overall the calculation overall has to be that I don't lose too much money, and it helps when from time to time there is a book that fetches more money than I've paid for it. Not with Terry Moore Echo. I really like Rachel Rising. Strangers in Paradise. I've ordered now the hardcover omnibus that is solicited. I was very hesitant because it's so close thematically and maybe even story-wise to my beloved Love and Rockets. So I always thought he's a bit a copycat, Mr. Terry Moore. But I will see. I mean, this omnibus just looked too damn good. So I will try Strangers in Paradise as well. But Echo just was not for me. Like, I have to say Black Hammer, all these Black Hammer books, not only The World of Black Hammer. Oh, don't know if I have not a photo of the others, the core Black Hammer books. I've read Black Hammer Volume 1, which I liked so much that I thought, hey, I will keep on with this series. And but after a while, it was just elongated and treaded water and was by far not as good as the start. So yeah, I lost the interest even of the whole series, even though especially in the world of Black Hammer, there are a lot of single stories that are pretty good, I know. But that's maybe the problem when you buy comics in collected editions. It's more an all or nothing game for me. Manifest Destiny Book 1 and Book 2 really liked the story, especially in Book 1. Didn't like the ending too much. A book that was fun to read, but it's pretty it's not likely that I would read these stories again, and so I sold it. Now to the European comics that have been sold already, or will be sold in the near future, I hope. These are already gone. A stack of old Tintins that I sold for a symbolic price, but I thought it would be silly to keep them because I have now almost each Tim und Tintin, Tim und Struppi album in different versions. So yeah, this is a kind of multi-dipping thing for me with Tintin. But yeah, these old albums, they had to go. And as the same were these 2 cars that I sold. These are very tiny cars. and that was the reason why I sold them, because I wanted to have a bit bigger scaled cars. Yeah, here you see one of these cars that I now own. Oh, it's a bit dusty, always a problem, but you can brush these off. I digress. But you see, I love these cars. So you how's the saying? You can't get the boy out of the comic collector, or how? However, anyhow, I digress. Let's go on with the European comics that have been gone, like this. Yeah, huge Asterix book. This is even bigger than European album size, and was more a fan thing. Half of the book was an artist edition version of this comic drawn by Ferry. I'm not the biggest fan of the comics that came after Goscinny and Uderzo, especially after Uderzo didn't draw them. So yeah, this book was actually not for me. A collection of, or bundle of Luc Orion comics. I think I have even more. I sold them because I have a collected edition right now in hardcover and beautiful stuff. Luc Orion, drawn by Eddie Pape, has grown on me since. I really love this very old-fashioned sci-fi story. Johann und Pfiffikus. Oh, don't know about the French title is obviously a bit different. But it is a series by Pio, the artist behind the Smurfs. And that's the reason why I kept volume 3. These are, as you see, volume 1 and 2. And in volume 3, you have the first appearance of the Smurfs, and which is very charming and nice. The whole series is really nice and funny, but it's really aimed at kids. So I thought, better sell it, old man. It's not for you so much. But the third one with the Smurfs, that was totally stuff for old geezers. Okay, talking about stuff for hard men, a Torpedo by Jordi Bernet and Abuli. Fantastic gangster crime stuff. These are German soft covers that I sold, and these are English hardcovers that I sold, actually for a good price. And why did I sell them? Yeah, we have now really good collected editions, each and every Torpedo story in one format and album format, and beautiful and everything. So these things had to go. Then I have Druyer homage, even though Druyer is the biggest name here on of the authors. It's not drawn by Druyer, and even though the comic is interesting and tries to be Druyer, but is not Druyer, and you see it, so the book had to go. The Mini Girls is actually the translation for this one. I think you would have guessed that. It's a spin-off of the by the same creator of the Mini Mansion, the Petit Homme. I hope you can see this right now. I can't see myself here with the setup right now. So yeah, the little people, little ones. I don't know how it is actually translated into English, if it's at all. But the original is the Petit Homme, and yeah, and here it's a bit for adults. So the ladies are naked and always horny, and it's silly and goofy. I could chuckle a bit, but yeah, in the end, I found it a bit too silly, so I sold it. Jackie Kotwitz, or as the original title is Jerome K. Jerome Bloch, is a fantastic European crime series, and I owned these soft covers quite a while until I finally realized what a great comic it is. The first Jackie Cotwitz or Jerome Bloch stories are not as good as later ones. The later ones are fantastic, and I really hope that this series will be translated into English because this comic really deserves the appreciation of the whole wide world. Yeah. Anyhow, I have these stories in as a part of a collected edition, so I didn't need these anymore. Same is true for the Towers of Bois-Maury. These are the German soft covers that I upgraded for hardcover volumes, hardcover album edition. Fantastic series. One of my favorite comics of all time. Herman, one of my favorite comic artists of all time. So I thought it would be a good idea to add a bit of double dipping in this case with black and white art of the Towers of Bois-Maury or Les Tours de Bois-Maury. With this beautiful book and all the stories, the whole series in a black and white edition. The problem is it was really shrunken. It was smaller, a lot smaller than the original edition. So yeah, even though it's a beautiful book, but I don't need a smaller French version if I have the album-sized German colored one. So yeah, two comics that you probably don't know about that are now part of a hardcover edition. François Keuten comics should be known to you because I did a long series of videos years ago about this fantastic and very important Belgian cartoonist. I have these in, yeah, I upgraded to better editions. Even Nogegon, I have now a huge oversized edition of this book, special book, and a very rare one. So even though these books are beautiful, they had to go because I don't need them in two versions. Yeah, this is also an upgrading thing. The Lost Ones in Time, or however Paul Guillon's very nice sci-fi saga is translated. So here you see the old German softcover edition. You probably know that I like or love Don Lawrence and especially his Storm series. But after his death, one Romano Molinar took over the art duties. And at first it went pretty well, but later on he did not, the coloring changed a bit. He tried to wing it a bit, just in comparison to Don Lawrence, intricate coloring. He can color the comics pretty interesting in a very fascinating way, like these covers prove. But the actual comics were done a bit more economically or rushed even. So yeah, I stopped collecting and buying Storm after a certain album number. Same is true for Red Hair, a spin-off series that I liked a bit, but was eventually pretty lukewarm about it, and so I sold these albums as well. Caroline Baldwin by André Taimon, a fantastic series, crime series that is now collected in collected editions, and there are 4 of them, 4 collected editions. I can show you this pretty quick here. And I love these editions, so I don't need these ones, so these had to go. And how it sometimes goes when you love a series so much, you are really passionate about these albums. You don't want to have this series to be continued. But André Témon did just that. He continued Caroline Baldwin, and these continuations in these single albums were by far not as good as the stories before. So even though these are solid stories, I just want to get rid of these and want to have what I consider the true Caroline Baldwin saga. So Yogurta, by historic comic set in Roman times and Carthago and so on. Really good series that I now have in hardcovers. So soft covers were not needed anymore. Same with January Jones by Eric Heubel, a Dutch guy, Dutch artist. Wonderful, modern in a way, Ligne Claire comic, but it's totally the old feeling and atmosphere of these Ligne Claire adventures comes through. And I have this now in a collected edition. So these albums had to go. Möbius, The Airtight Garage. This was a beautiful and pristine book. I somehow wasn't able to photograph this book so that this comes across that I want to sell a new book actually. Was obviously no problem. I could sell this for quite a buck, quite a dollar, quite a euro back then, and because it was rare. And I didn't need this story anymore because it was part of a bigger collection of Möbius stories. Nemesis the Warlock, the complete Nemesis the Warlock. I bought these books. I really loved these books, but sometime along the line, I realized what Rebellion had done with these stories, which was they shrunk these drastically. I realized these at the latest when I saw them in the 2000 AD magazines, some chapters of Nemesis the Warlock, drawn for the most part by Kevin O'Neill, but by others as well. So now we have these beautiful deluxe editions, and there's no need for these shrunken trade paperbacks. Let's stay with 2000 AD for a while, respectively, the German versions of Slain. Little German publisher, Dantes Verlag, did the translations of Slain and of other 2000 AD titles. And it's a great series, but when you have Simon Bisley at the helm, it is so eye-poppingly good that later volumes can't achieve this level. So it is for me with these stories, they had to go just because they are not as good as the ones before. Sounds unfair, probably is. Rick Master, these are the new cases of Ricochet. That is actually his French original name of this journalist / detective. And for me, I just decided that I don't want these new versions of old classics anymore because they just make my shelves explode. It's just too much. I mean, we have the most recent that I saw was there are the new adventures of Michel Vaillant or the youth of some European comic hero that you love. I'm not so much a fanboy of these characters. I'm usually more a fanboy of the artists. So let's move on. Yeah, German fanzines. Yeah, we have comic fanzines as well, quite a few of them. Uh, Usually with a small print run, as you can think, Outsider or Outside, the magazine for Insider, was a nice one from the late 80s, early 90s. Here we have a series that I collected for a long, long, long time, Corto Maltese by IDW. And really, even though we have a German, not only one German translation of Corto Maltese, but several versions, let's put it that way. And but I thought, hey, I need IDW's books because they look better. Somehow I decided, hey, this is the way to go. And these are beautiful books, of course, as you see. And Corto Maltese is a very important series. So I was quite proud of these books until I realized that actually the German books by one publisher, Schreiber und Leser, these are actually better in some regards. And they're in German, and so I could read them much easier. Yeah. And so, yeah, I changed the English ones into the German ones, so these had to go. Now we come to the manga section in my anti-haul here, and there are quite a few because I'm not a manga guy, I have to admit, and maybe you have already realized that. But I still try to check out mangas, and Berserk was not for me. Absolutely. I read the first 4 volumes of these deluxe editions, and I couldn't feel the story. I couldn't relate to these characters. Much too manga-esque for me to take them seriously. The drawings are very fine, very fine. They're fantastic. That's the reason why I kept volume 1, which is a thing that I do right now. When I try a manga and think, hey, it's interesting, it's fascinating in a way, but it's not something that I will read for 56 or 320 volumes. So I keep just the first volume, and yeah, I'm fine because I usually get the premise, you get the general idea of the manga, and it's okay. If I'm not really annoyed, and I have to say, annoyed by the 20th Century Boys, because hey, this was a series I read. I liked it a lot. In reading the first volumes up to, I don't know, I think I came to even 10 or 11. I was almost through with the stuff, but then I was fed up with the constant twists and turns by Naoki Urasawa, and the characters fantastically portrayed characters, but the whole story, world conspiracy that boils down on a little group of friends, of school friends, youth friends, however you call this, yeah, on a small. This is just silly. I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't go through with this, and I even not kept volume 1. Maybe I should have kept volume 1 and sold just the rest of it. Yeah, here another series by Naoki Urasawa, which I liked more, I have to say, and I was really intrigued by the story, and especially the premise, which is the reason why I keep volume 1, but I sell the rest of it. because it was stretched out. It too many twists and turns again, even though some of them are really interesting and were surprising and kept me going with the story here. But towards the end, it was just too much, and the end was not plausible. It yeah, especially if you think about that the story plays a lot in Germany, which is fine and very interesting, especially for me. But the end couldn't happen in this way over here in Germany. Just saying. So yeah, but nice books that the German Carlsen publisher Carlsen put out. Another manga translation into German by Tsutomu Nihei, Biomega. And if I should translate it in German, it had to pronounced Biomega. But yeah, anyhow, I could sell it for a good price because there are a lot of fans over here of Nihei. I'm not a fan. After reading this book, I have to say I was pretty blown away by his drawings, by the architectures, by the structures in which all the story is set in. But I couldn't really find the story, or yeah. I missed a bit the story within all these drawings. Okay, yeah, another German manga. I want to go into details, but here, Chainsaw Man, which is maybe of some interest for you, because it's an international thing, I think. And when I saw this colorful German slipcase edition, I thought, hey, could be something for me, especially this wacky idea to have this teenage boy with this chainsaw head, which is a good metaphor for puberty, I think. Great idea, but it's really a comic for younger ones, not so much for me, which I realized after reading, I guess, the first 2 or 3 trades. And then I thought, hey, let's sell the stuff. This is Battle Angel Alita, and this is the German edition, and I definitely didn't sell it because I didn't like the story. That is not true. I really love Battle Angel Alita. The drawings are exceptional, and the story is very interesting. But here I saw the, even though this is quite a nice German edition with the silver slipcase and so on. But the English slipcase edition is a bit bigger, and this is the selling factor for me, so that I sold this slipcase edition and bought the English slipcase edition. And I'm very happy with that one, because now you can really cherish all the details of Kishiro's detailed art. Oh, this was a tough sale for me, literally, because I really love these manga adaptations by Gutanabe of Lovecraft stories. But then I bought this big deluxe version of Mountains of Madness by Gutanabe, which reprints the same story here in English, but in a bigger size. And Gutanabe's art benefits really from a bigger size. These German mangas are not very small, but they are smaller than this deluxe book. And so, yeah, I thought I will stay on the deluxe road and I will wait for future edition. There's the next Gutanabe book in this deluxe treatment on the way, so I will keep on going with the English versions, even though probably not each of these stories here will be put out in this deluxe format. So maybe it was a a mistake to sell all these books. But anyhow, for sure it was no mistake to sell all these Lone Wolf and Cub little thingies. I mean, these are as big as my hand or so, really tiny books, which do this manga no justice at all. And in the meantime, and I got the omnibuses by Forgerelli way ago, which I sold. I hope he's okay with it. I sold for a good price as well after reading them, because in the meantime we have now the complete Lone Wolf and Cub in these oversized deluxe editions. I think, I'm pretty sure there are the same books in the meantime in English as well, even though they are not finished, and we are for a while have all these Lone Wolf and Cub books in the deluxe format. Just flexing a bit here. Junji Ito's Remina was probably the last Junji Ito book that I bought automatically. Before I saw Junji Ito on the cover, and I thought, hey, I have to get this book. Remina was just a silly story, and I thought maybe it's silly or I had too much Junji Ito. So I stopped since then, and am a bit hesitant to add something to my pretty big Junji Ito collection. Vagabond, staying with mangas here, you see, there was a lot of fluctuation in terms of manga in my collection, and Vagabond, I had them all with these beautiful spine picture that is pieced together by each of these books. And I've read the story, was blown away by the art, but asked myself, what is the motivation for the main character? Actually, what is the motivation for any of these characters? Just to kill? To prove that you're stronger than the others? And I thought there has to be a deeper meaning. There has to be more. And I read up to volume 7 of these with big editions, and it was still the scenery changes, the names of the killed, the ones who are killed changed, but the motivations and all, I couldn't relate to the character, the main characters, to all the characters more or less. So story was absolutely not my thing. So I had to sell these mangas, even though, yeah, the art is so beautiful. Yeah, these are beautiful books as well in a slipcase, 2 of them by Hayao Miyazaki, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Really beautiful books, nice art. Can't remember actually why I bought them, because I'm not an anime guy. I don't watch animes. And yeah, probably it was because this art just intrigued me, and a slipcase edition is something I could pass so easily. But I tried to read the stories and liked them quite a bit, or the story as far as I've read it. But after reading, a good part of the story, I put them away and forgot about them for weeks. And then next time I started again, and somehow I gave up. Alex Sinner by Munoz and Sampaio. This is a thick book, but unfortunately a shrunken book. These comics by Munoz and Sampaio are shrunken in this book, and this was the reason for me to sell this book. Even though there are some stories in this tome that you can't get anywhere else, at least in German. This is a German edition. I have a good chunk of these Alex Sinner comics in a European album size, so I'm somehow fine. It's still it still hurts a bit to know that some of these Alex Sinner stories are gone now, but I just couldn't stand to see these beautiful comics in a shrunken size. Um, I don't know what this publisher was thinking uh, in shrinking them down. Um, yeah. Anyhow, before I get too angry, this is actually another book that keeps my blood a bit going. Not because Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, I like them. I love Pulp, a pretty short story, actually. So I thought, hey, I want to see how this comic was done. So I bought the process edition. But yeah, this is a bit a fake thing here, because it shouldn't be a secret that Sean Phillips is an artist who needs photographies. He works after photography. You can see that he uses photography. And all you can see in this book here are his drawings, and that but you don't see the actual work process. Maybe he is afraid that we don't recognize him as a great artist or somehow. Yeah, somehow I felt a bit betrayed with this book, so it had to go. Stumptown Volume 1 and 2 were excellent stories with pretty fitting and solid art. The artist changed with Volume 3 that you see right here, and it didn't work for me. So I sold Volume 3, but kept Volume 1 and 2. A bit of the same is My Favorite Thing is Monsters. I did a video way back then when My Favorite Thing is Monsters book 1 came out. I loved it immensely. I love it actually until this day. It was a promise that Emil Ferris couldn't keep with book 2. Book 2 is a mess story-wise, especially towards the end. So I was really annoyed. I, again, liked the art, but the story was so incoherent, and yeah, it's a pity. This book by Eric Powell couldn't compare actually to the Goon stories. I read it once, don't want to read it twice, so I sold it. Revival with these Jenny Frison covers, beautiful books, beautiful hardcovers. I actually read this horror story twice. First time, I really loved the story. Second time, I was not as blown away, and it was not as good as I remembered it, and so it was quite unlikely that I will read it a third time. And the fact that these books obviously could be sold for a decent price, yeah, made the decision a bit easier to let them go. Lady Killer by Joel Jones, a nice crime story that maybe tried a bit too hard to be a cool, pulpy, easygoing crime story. Was entertaining in contrast to this one here. I don't know what I was thinking back in the day when I ordered a stack. Must be even more of these crossed things. What I was thinking when I ordered crossed, it's it's really icky. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this stuff. And there are a lot of creators that I actually respect, like Garth Ennis and David Lapham and Alan Moore did something. Yeah, this is actually another trade that is not on this photo here. Yeah. But yeah, good riddance. Black Badge is, I guess, a series by Matt Kindt that is a bit under the radar in comparison to, let's say, Mind Management. For good reason, I think. Somehow this conspiracy thing that Matt Kindt usually writes very good didn't work in these youngsters who are in a group of how do you call them? Pfadfinder. These young dudes who dress up in uniforms and go into the forest. You know what I'm saying? And probably because of the whole action and children involved, maybe that was the thing why I didn't like it as much. I can't remember actually. So go to another book by Matt Kindt, Super Spy, which is a perfect series cycle of stories. And there was this Lost Dossier extra thing with some thingies you could some for tinkering your own spy supplies and so on. All these two books are collected in a hardcover edition that's just so beautiful that I had to upgrade to that one. Another horror stuff here by Guillermo del Toro, The Strain. These were actually at best generic comics, even though the covers look amazing, I have to agree or admit. Sandman, Volume 2, this particular copy of the Absolute Edition had severe binding problems. So it almost fall apart. I glued it as best as I can, try to repair it, but given that it is the Sandman and I really cherish these editions, I wanted a perfect book and sold this for, I don't know, a fraction of the cover price, of course. Brian Talbot, a photo referenced comic where you can see on each page that it is photo referenced. Art-wise, a really disappointment, especially given that I liked his takes on Nemesis the Warlock. Not as good as Kevin O'Neill, but was decent art. This book here, pretty disappointment. An art book with art by Coop, pop artist, a bit damaged at the corners. Actually a book that I do like, but somehow this seems to go for pretty high prices. That was the reason that where I put it up on eBay. I tried to get, I guess, 80 euros for it. And there it stood and collected dust on the eBay shelf. In the meantime, I put the price to only 60 euros, which is really still a lot for this book, I think. But for less, I won't give it away because I really like the art by Coop somehow. It's not my favorite artist, but what he does really in an impressive manner. The Manhattan Projects by Hickman and Pitara. I had all the 6 trade paperbacks and upgraded it to the hardcover collection. There are 2 hardcovers, oversized, nice books all the way. With the maybe at first look, it looks like a mistake because the end, at least the last paperback, isn't included in this 2-part hard cover thing. But the last part of Manhattan Projects really doesn't fit to the rest of the story. It is absolutely superficial. So it was a good thing that they left out the end of Manhattan Projects and this hardcover edition. So I sold the trades for almost the same price that I had to pay for the hardcover ones. So this was a pretty good endeavor. La Bible, I had to pronounce it Spanish, and I can't do it. Once I bought the Bible by Basil Wolverton in Spanish because I couldn't find it anywhere in English. And in the meantime, good old Forgerelli supplied me with the English version, and it is a bigger book. And now I can really read the text from the Bible to these wacky but heartfelt drawings by Mr. Wolverton. Yeah, staying a bit with Mr. Forgerelli. Way back then, I tried to collect to buy all Love and Rockets magazines, and bought a bundle here and a bundle there, and had a lot of doubles, of course. Until I, with a big help by Forgerelli, I got the whole all my Love and Rockets magazines up to now, and now I have the subscription going on, so I'm totally complete. Yeah. Long story short, the doubles I sold, of course, on eBay. The Wicked and the Divine, just a comic many people love. I did was just nothing for me. Same more or less with East or West, even though this one I read from start to finish and liked it somehow, but I was pretty sure I won't read this comic twice. And it's a bit strange how the apocalypse just happens in America, as the world doesn't exist, and there's enough in the world today that this mindset, hey, America first, that you can be annoyed by this mindset. Of course, I'm not saying that Hickman is mega or something. I hope he's not. I'm pretty sure he's not. But I don't know. Just go to the next. Here, the Black Hammers. These are the library editions of the proper series that I've sold. As I said it, you can be happy more or less with the library edition number 1, but yeah, the end is of, if you just, I considered to keep just the first library edition and to only sell library edition 2 and 3, but the end, the story end of volume 1 is too open. It's not a good open ending if you just keep the first book. Lazarus, the third collection, very good sci-fi story, but stupid me bought 2 of these books. I had this on my shelf, and for whatever reason, I had ordered a second book by a different seller. So yeah, I had to get rid of the superfluous copy. Here, a bundle with different comics. I'm pretty curious if I really can sell these different comics to someone for a lower price, of course. Maybe you wonder why Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees is in this bundle here. Well, this series about, or the story about anthropomorphic serial killer didn't blow me away. It was entertaining, just as good as Dead by good old David Lapham. Yeah, 2 comics that I probably won't read again. Classics Illustrated Frankenstein, well, it's a very roughly drawn comic. Nice hardcover, but not really necessary to keep this. Spy Seal, the Cotton Steel Phoenix by a fantastic comic cartoonist, Rich Tomaso. I've upgraded to the hardcover version of this album that came out recently. and Michael Allred's It Girl. These stories are all part or collected in the Michael Allred or Madman library editions that I own, so I don't need these stories in a trade. World Within World by, how do you pronounce this name? Julia Kröger. Very idiosyncratic personal comics, maybe too personal and idiosyncratic for me. I couldn't get into these stories. Frank Santoro's Pittsburgh, that's a really nice and interesting book, and this is a big book. It's actually somehow European album size and thicker book, of course. Done in this style with felt pen markers, very seemingly amateurish, but it fits the story. Is it a story? It's rather a biography of his family or a report of his endeavor to try to figure out why his parents got divorced back in the day. So he asks different family members and so on, why did my parents separate? Which is, of course, a groundbreaking event for him, but I'm actually not so interested in the family saga or history of the Santoros. So even though I think this is a great this is a great way of doing a comic with the least pretentious way possible. But yeah, the story was really not something for me. Sergio Toppi is a great artist, a great illustrator, but maybe not a great cartoonist. And so I sold this book here. Art-wise, it contains mind-blowing art. I have to say that, but I still have to find Toppi comic story that I find really interesting because it's a comic, not because it's art. Well, Milk and Cheese. Somehow I think I'm judged by you. How dares he selling this underground gold? Well, probably I don't think that it's underground gold. It's maybe just milk and cheese. It's funny sometimes, but it's a bit hard for me to really read more than just a few pages in this book. Probably maybe because there's a lot of text involved here and I'm not an English speaker, native speaker. So even though I wanted to like this book by Evan Dorkin, D.B. Cooper by Brian Churilla about this Shanghaiing of an airplane, which is some kind of a big thing in American history, I believe. I read this book 12 or 13 years ago, never touched it again. Decent enough art. Obviously, I flipped through these pages recently again, but not a book that I read again. It's probably a sentence that I say much too often in this video. I won't read it twice, therefore it has to go. But actually, it is really a key point for me to when I try to decide, will I keep a book or should it leave? So here we have two series of comic books put in these boxes by TKO Studios. Maybe you know the drill. So you could put the boxes as if they were books onto your shelf. Really neat idea. Not so neat that these boxes have to be destroyed by just by being mailed to you because they are just squeezed. This is not the reason why I don't want to keep them. These are, for me, the weakest comics in the TKO roster. Here you can see, look onto the covers. Then we have Kaiju Max Volume 1 and 2 by Zender Cannon. Extremely cartoony art, actually art that I usually don't care, absolutely don't care about, but the story was good, as the critics said back in the day. So I really was talked into buying these books and didn't regret it reading these. But there's now a third volume, and the third volume by critics is not as well loved. So this time I really hear what the critics say, and as I was hesitant anyhow because of the art, I thought, yeah, I don't buy the third volume, and probably it will be a good thing to get rid of the first two volumes. Maybe a mistake, but I don't think that I actually would read these again. So yeah, there you have the sentence again. Then we have a case of upgrading, and this is an upgrade to an upgrade to an upgrade, actually, because here you have the trade paperbacks of Weird Fantasy and Tales from the Crypt and Weird Science, which I upgraded to these things here, the Fantagraphics hardbacks in slipcases. As you may know, these became rare after a while, or very sought after. So I could sell them, and I have sold them for a very good price, more than cover price, to be honest with you. Still, I'm a bit, there's some guy in my head who screams at me, this was a mistake, because these books are obviously beautiful, and I've read a lot of them, and not each and every story in each and every book, but I think a high percentage of these books, to know at least that I really love these stories and the EC artists, of course. Yeah, but there was the next upgrade, and what I mean with that is the huge Taschen, a Weird Science book that I bought, and this is unbelievable. This is the way I think the old EC comics have to be reproduced and collected in oversize, in color, but not a computer recoloring or something, but the with color restoration of the Band-Aid dot coloring, the original coloring, beautiful. Unfortunately, they just put out so far one volume, and I really pray to the Spaghetti Monster that they will put out more of that. At least maybe the core titles. But actually, for me, everything EC is a core title. Yeah, you can see I'm struggling a bit with the decision to sell these books. But what can I do? Now they are gone, and it is what it is. More of these reprints of old stuff will I show you with Modesty Blaze. 3 soft covers in English and 1 German little hardcover with the exceptional art by Jim Holdaway. And now we have over here by a little publisher called Boccola, beautiful hardcover oversized editions, oversized huge editions of Modesty Blaze strips, were the first ones by Jim Holdaway, drawn by Jim Holdaway, which are fantastic. Continuing with these collections of older material, really old material, like Terry and the Pirates by Milton Caniff. And these books from the Library of American Comics by IDW are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Um, and I really liked them. I read the whole series, and yeah, but then Clover Press put out these huge things. So, and these are really overall a drastic improvement, because some of the old black and white strips weren't really good. The scans weren't there, and even the color reproductions were a bit shady. I liked sometimes the moody quality of these somehow misprinted older Sunday color pages, but overall the new book makes everything right, and the Terry and the Pirate strips are now much bigger, clearer, overall better, and I really don't regret to upgrade them. So, The First Kingdom by Jack Katz, I couldn't go through the series. I bought all of them, but that was a bit too quick. I really had to realize, I think it was in volume 1 or volume 2, that this story here is much too dense, too detailed, too idiosyncratic, too everything for my little brain. Finishing off my anti-haul with Wally Wood's Artist Edition. And you ask yourself maybe, why did he sell this Artist Edition by Wally Wood of all artists? Yeah, of course, because there's a new extended version of that same Artist Edition, almost the double page count or so. And when I saw the solicitation for this extended version, I put mine on eBay almost instantly and sold it for, I guess I got what I paid for this book. So everything's fine. I didn't lost money, at least with the whole transaction, and have now a beautiful, thick Artist Edition full of full of Wally Wood goodness. So, folks, that was my little, not so little anti-haul with books that I've sold in the last years and months. Actually, the speed of how I sell books has increased over the last months because shelf space is limited, and I try really to sell and achieve to sell as many books as I buy, that I sell as many books as I buy. So I hope that sentence makes and somehow sense. And before I babble too much more nonsense, I say goodbye to you. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.